Okay, welcome to Canvas Kids. This week we are going to paint a sloth. So this is what it's going to look like about when it's finished. So everybody has a canvas with it traced out on. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take, I'm going to wet my brush. We're going to take some of the light brown and some white. So first I'm going to take the white. And I'm going to add a little bit of the light brown to it. You can always add more. So try not to add too much at a time. You can always add a little bit more if it's not dark enough. It's not dark enough, so I'm going to add a little bit more. And everybody's is going to be a little different in color, and that's fine. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with this color. All right. So now I am going to paint the sloth. Don't do in his face here. So I'm just going to start. Use whichever brush works best for you. It's kind of almost the same color as my coffee that I'm drinking. Just try to stay in the lines the best you can. And try to follow the shape of the sloth. So because his back goes around like that, just kind of do that with your brush. And try not to paint it too thick and heavy. Now when I get to these other parts, I am going to switch to a different brush. First I'm going to wipe my extra paint off of here so I don't get all that extra paint in the water. Okay, I'm going to switch to a round brush. That'll be a little easier. Then don't forget, he's got his other two legs hanging down from the underneath side of the tree trunk. So don't forget to paint those as well, because they're not attached to the body the same. Okay, fix that a little bit. Forget, just take your time. No big rush. I'm only rushing because I'm taping it. Okay. Okay, and then do the two small parts that look like a little mask where his eyes are going to be. I didn't finish tracing the eyes on because I figured you could do that yourself, which we're going to wait till the other part's dry, or at least you should wait till it's dry. Okay, so just do that part. All right, you're all set with him. Now you're going to make the color for the very inside. So what you're going to do is, I'm going to wash off my brush. And now I'm going to take a bunch of white, not a whole bunch, but you know, a little bit. You don't need too much, but we are going to use it probably again later. And then just take a little bit of this light brown, not very much, because we already made it lighter. And we want to mix it with the white, and we want to make it even lighter. So make it real, real light. Make it just a tiny bit more. Okay, so when you get real light like that, then go ahead and paint in the rest of his face area. Now you're gonna probably do it a little neater than I did because I didn't do it too neat, but it's okay. If you go over where the nose is, don't worry about it because the nose is going to be covered with dark brown, so it won't even show. And you're going to go over where the mouth is because you're going to still be able to see it. Okay? All right. So now that we did his body, we have to make him a little fur. Now you can either do this step now, or you can do it a little bit later, but see how he has little lines everywhere? That's how we're doing it to make him look more fluffy. So while you have some of the light color, just kind of go through like this and make some fluffy little lines. You want to kind of follow the shape of the sloth's body. So see how I'm going along the back? So I'm going long. I'm not going up and down this way. And then his legs go that way. So I'm going to mark a little on his legs. And then you can put a little on this part of his head as well. Once we get the background, we're going to give him a little fur on the top of his head, and we're going to make him look a little more fluffy. And then you can also take a little bit of the dark and do the same thing with the dark. You just want to give him some texture and make him look like he's furry. You just kind of follow, like I said, the shape of his body. You can go back and add more later. I'm just doing it a little bit now. Okay. All right. Down there more. All right, so now that we're done with that part, we are going to do the whole background. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my flat brush. All right. So I'm going to take some white paint. Big glob of it there. And then I'm going to take a little bit of green. And I'm going to mix it in a little bit, just kind of loosely mix it in. We want it streaky looking, but it's up to you how dark you want it. We don't want it like way, way too dark because it's just the background. I'm going to turn this around and start on the bigger part. And now you can just kind of paint all over however you want. Doesn't have to be like nice and neat, and sometimes we go in a line one direction or that. You can just kind of paint all over like that. See, we want the light and dark to show up. So sometimes it's going to be more light and sometimes it's going to be more dark. And that's what we want. When you get around near things, you might want to be more careful. In fact, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do those parts with a smaller brush. You don't have to worry about if you leave some globby spots when you do this part, because most of it is just going to stay the way it is. We're not going to go back over it at all, so we don't have to worry about a big wet spot. So just cover up the whole background where there is no lines. You should have just go around the lines. And you can always wait till your sloth dries before you do this step. I am going to do it nice and neatly following the lines so I can get that part done good. But then I'm going to go back and kind of go like this to make it look not as flat, so it's got some texture to it. And if you have too much white, you can always take just the plain green on the end of your brush and just kind of work it in like that to get a little bit more green in it. Just kind of put it down and just kind of loosely just rub it around. So you have some dark patches and some light patches. I was going to switch brushes, but I'm doing okay with this one. Okay. Gotta get between all these pieces of the branch. If you get confused about what parts you're supposed to paint, just look at the sample picture. Everybody's got a sample picture in their bag. Dark over here, a little bit too much. There. Everybody's painting's going to come out different, which is perfectly fine. Everybody's not expected to paint exactly the same way. This is the trickiest part to go around. Definitely gonna have to switch to a smaller brush for that. Oops, I got a little brown in there. It's all right though. Okay, I'll have to go back and add that little bit in there with a small brush. Do the best you can. All right, so that is all done. So the next part is painting the big branch. I'm going to use a bigger brush. I'm going to go with a round one. So the branch is going to be painted in this darker brown. So you're going to use this color. You can start wherever you want. Doesn't really matter. Kind of the same thing like with the sloth. Paint in the direction the branch is going. So the branch is long, so paint it long way. It's got the little branch that goes up there. Don't forget that part. Go over the lines where the green is. Don't worry about it because your brown is darker and you can hide it and nobody will know you went over the lines. Oops, I forgot the little piece of the branch. Forgot this branch. All right, I'm going to turn this. Now I'm going to do the middle part here. Okay. Remember, take your time with yours. You don't have to hurry like I am. You can always pause this video as you're painting so you can catch up. Or if you don't feel like watching the whole thing at one time and finishing, you can always go back and finish it another time. It's up to you. Okay, so my branch is finished. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the skinny brush. Yeah, this one's the smallest one I got out. Oops, brown. And I'm going to use the brown and I'm going to paint his nose. And his mouth. All right. Now, because these are darker than the background, we also can take a skinny brush and make his claws. So just make 3 claws, long skinny claws, coming out of each of his legs. Okay, last one. Okay, so there's his little claws. Now, hopefully the middle of his eye, that part where it looks like a mask, is dry enough that we can put his eyes on. If yours isn't dry enough, you can wait. But you're going to put 2, use the light color that you used for the face there, and just make 2 little circles, one on each of the little patches for his eye, just like that. Now, since I've got him there anyway, I'm going to take a little bit of the color that we used for his body, and I'm going to make him some little fur sticking out of the top of his head. Just kind of make him a little fur patch up there. Okay. Can also kind of go through and make some more fur if you want, if he doesn't have enough fur on him yet. Want to make him a little furry looking, more furry looking. You can even put a little bit of it in the patch on his head. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do the leaves. We're going to paint some of them, just the green by itself. So I'm going to take the plain green and I'm going to paint this small leaf on here. And I'm going to paint this bigger leaf here. Paint one over here. It's basically wherever there's 2 leaves, one of them's going to be the darker one and one of them's going to be a lighter one. Now I'm going to turn this around. Okay. Now what we need to do is we're going to add a little bit of green and a whole bunch of yellow. And we're going to make a lighter yellowish green. It's up to you how much yellow or how much green. And then we're going to paint the other leaf wherever there's 2, whichever leaves we didn't paint already. we are going to paint in this color. And we're also going to take this and we're going to use it in the dark leaf. You might want to use a smaller brush if you've got one, and make the leaf pattern like that. Okay, turn this around. I'm also going to paint this little swirly vine that was in here. Okay, then I'm going to paint this leaf. Oops, got a little dark from the next one, but that's okay. And then this one as well. All right, I think I got them all. Yes, I'm actually going to switch to my smaller brush here, because I brought that one too. Okay, so I'm going to make the inside. Oh, it's still too wide. So make the little leaf pattern. So on the light colored leaves, use the dark green. On the dark green leaves, use the light color. All right, so then we'll clean that off. And then I'm going to take the straight green and do it on these other ones. And you're going to wait till yours is dry, and yours will look much better than mine is coming out. Okay. So basically make the pattern in the dark leaves with the light color green, and make the pattern with the dark color in the light color leaves. So now we're going to take a little bit of our light brown . Take a little bit of this and I'm going to kind of put it in the tree trunk to kind of give the tree trunk some texture to make it look like an actual trunk, the texture that's in a trunk. Okay, like that. You can also use a little bit of the light color that was for the body of the sloth. You can use a little bit of that one in there too. Just like that. And then it gives your branches some more texture. All right, so they'll also need a little bit of this light color highlighting his little nose like that. And then what we need are 2 dots inside his eyes. So we did the light part, so now we need the dark part. So take your dark brown, take the back of your brush, dip it in there, and then just dip it like that. So you get a good round circle for the eye. And I think he is finished. Let me look him over real quick, see if I missed anything. Nope, I think we are all set. All right, he is finished. So thanks for coming. Next week we will be doing a giraffe. So I will see you then. Goodbye.